I haven't really thought about what I was gonna say. What's up guys, Matt here. I'm here with the Mark 5 Volkswagen Jetta. I've got my friend Cody behind the camera. He's gonna be helping out today. We are gonna be installing this ECS tuning adjustable coilover system on the car, front and rear. If you caught my last video, you know that this car had some severe issues with the driver's side front spring. It had broken in multiple spots. So we did try to film that side, show you how to install the coilover on that side, but because it was so mangled, we decided to show you on the passenger side for demonstration purposes. If you want to go see us struggle with the driver's side, go ahead and check out that previous video. It shows you how the car was behaving and then when we ripped it apart and what we found. So I'll link that in the information card in the top right hand corner. But for now, let's get into this install and see how it goes. In the first video of this suspension series, we drove the car, diagnosed the suspension issues, and started disassembling the driver's side suspension. Actually, disassembling doesn't really describe how we remove the driver's side. For the passenger side, we tried to remove the strut and spring assembly with a bit more grace, which is why I'm using this side to show you guys. First of all, we're going to use a T25 Torx bit to remove the skid plate and some of the wheel well lining. It's not possible to get a wrench on the back side of the Endlink without making this room. Plus, it gives us a pretty great camera angle. Now that we have some room to breathe, the disassembly process starts with disconnecting the Swaybar Endlink and removing the strut pinch bolt. This can be done in any order. We tackled the Endlink first. The Endlink requires an 18mm open-end wrench so you can fit an M6 triple square inside the 18mm wrench. The triple square is not a common bit, so make sure you have this before starting the project. I'll link one down in the description of this video. So while holding the bolt with the triple square, remove the 18mm nut. It's a great idea to soak the nut and bolt with penetrating oil to make this removal easier. If you're only replacing the strut or springs, this is as far as you have to go with the end links. But since we are replacing the end links, we'll need to remove them from the sway bar. You may have to compress the suspension a bit to relieve the tension on the end links. With the end link removed, we can move on to that pinch bolt. This too requires a triple square. While holding the pinch bolt with an M14 triple square, remove the nut with an 18mm socket. As I said before, PB Blaster or any penetrating oil will be a close friend of yours during this job, and this pinch bolt is no different. When the nut is removed from the pinch bolt, you can remove the actual bolt by backing out the bolt with the triple square or hitting the end of it with a hammer. Don't worry too much about damaging the end of the bolt. These will have to be replaced as they're torque to yield bolts. With the pinch bolt out, we can use this specialty Spindle housing spreader, link in the description, to open the hub. You can also use a 1/4 inch socket extension if you're in a pinch, pun intended, but this spindle spreader is much easier. So at this point, you should spray all of your PB Blaster in between the strut and hub housing. This will be huge later on when we're trying to remove the strut. Now we can disconnect the ball joint from the lower control arm. This will give us the ability to rotate the hub later, which will also help to get the strut out of the hub. This is simply 3 16mm nuts, then the control arm can be pulled down off of the ball joint. Now that we've got everything disconnected around the bottom of the strut, we can go up into the engine bay under the rain shield or the windshield wiper cowling to access the strut tower. In here, there are 3 13mm top hat bolts. When these are removed, the strut is no longer connected to the car and is theoretically loose.
Now it's time to struggle with the strut to get it out of the hub assembly. There's really not a trick to this. You just have to pull and twist the hub until you get the end of the strut out. Well, actually there is a trick. It's called removing the axle bolt and the CV axle, but that requires another specialty tool that we do not have. So struggle it is.
Hey look, I got a strut.
Also, here's us removing it on the passenger side. Okay, with the strut assembly out, it's time to prepare the new ECS Tuning Street coilovers for installation. Fortunately, for the sake of this video's length, I have already posted a video showing coilover pre-assembly prep. I'll link that in the top right-hand corner of the screen right now. So moving on to the rear disassembly. This portion of the process is much easier and provides a much needed confidence boost. To remove the rear spring, we'll remove the rear hub nut and bolt. You'll want to support the bottom of the control arm to relieve some of the stress on this bolt. With the nut and bolt removed, we can slowly let the control arm down. With the spring out of compression, we can twist and pull to remove the spring. To remove the shock, there is a bolt on the bottom holding it onto the hub, and there are bolts at the top of the shock mount. Blast all those out and you're good to go. See? Wasn't that easier? In fact, it was such a nice change of pace, we decided to install the rear coilovers before working on the fronts. The adjustability of these ECS tuning coilovers comes from this threaded spring perch. We weren't exactly sure where this would put the car in terms of ride height, so we just locked it in somewhere around the middle of the threads. This perch bolts to the lower control arm, where the stock coil sits. Now torque the new shock mount bolts to spec. Torque specs for everything can be found in the description below. We can also bolt the bottom of the shock back onto the hub with the new hardware. And with the spring perch and shock secured, we can seat the spring on the perch and jack the lower control arm back up to the hub.
I haven't even grabbed the bolt yet, but... Stop.
Using a new nut and bolt, torque the rear hub bolt to spec. And done. Alright, back to the front. We can install the coilover assembly and end links. Because this is a lowered suspension, the assembly is slightly shorter, which makes a huge difference getting the strut into the hub housing. When the strut is fully seated in the hub, remove that spindle spreader. Now we can reinstall everything we removed earlier. Again, torque specs for everything are in the description below. I'll try to list them in the order that they appear in this video. Now, the moment of truth. A bit uneven. Even though we set the heights of both the front and back coilovers to the midpoint of the threads, the rear sits much lower than the front. Because it was late and the fronts are easier to adjust, we decided to slam the front to match the rear. We will be back to raise the car up a bit to make driveways and speed bumps less scrapey, but this should give you a good idea of how to install the ECS Tuning Street Coilover Kit. Thanks again to ECS Tuning for supporting this channel, and thank you for making it this far in the video. As I'm sitting here right now, I don't know how long the final edit is going to be, but based on how long I've been talking into this microphone, I'm guessing it won't be short. I will be releasing a video soon with my thoughts on the suspension, ride quality, performance, etc., so stay tuned for that one. In the meantime, if you want to pick up your own coilover kit, check out the links in the description. Those links will take you to ECS Tuning, and if you use the links to any of the parts down there, I do get a small kickback, which really helps keep this channel going. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time.